Most people think being an empath is a gentle, quiet existence where you simply absorb other people's pain, feel drained, and need to hide away from the world to recover. You hear the word empath and you instantly picture someone who is overly sensitive, constantly overwhelmed by crowds, and acting as an emotional sponge for everyone else's baggage. But there is a rare, fierce type of empath out there that breaks every single one of these stereotypes. They don't just sit back and quietly soak up your heavy energy until they feel sick. Instead, they completely shatter it. They enter a room and actively disrupt the energetic status quo, turning emotional atmospheric pressure upside down. These rare individuals are known as Heyoka Empaths, and they are hands down the most powerful, intense, and spiritually advanced empaths walking the earth today. If you have ever met someone who felt completely different from anyone else, someone who disrupted your regular way of thinking just by being in the room, you might have crossed paths with a Heyoka. The word Heyoka itself comes from a deeply sacred Native American Lakota tradition, and it literally translates to sacred clown or fool. Now, when modern ears hear the word clown or fool, they immediately think of a joke, a sideshow, or someone who isn't meant to be taken seriously. But that interpretation couldn't be further from the truth. In indigenous culture, the sacred clown held a position of immense respect, honor, and spiritual authority. They weren't there to entertain the tribe for cheap laughs. They were there to challenge the tribe's rigid thinking, break down social taboos, and heal the community through unconventional, unexpected methods. To understand the sheer magnitude of a Heyoka empath, you have to understand that they operate entirely in reverse. They are the ultimate contrarians of the spiritual world, living their lives backward or opposite to what society deems normal. Where everyone else walks in a straight line, the Heyoka might walk backward. Where society demands a serious tone, the Heyoka might crack a joke to shatter a tense environment. They look at the world completely upside down, seeing truths that ordinary people miss because they are too busy following the herd. They don't accept standard societal norms. They naturally challenge conventional wisdom, and they constantly force the people around them to question their own deeply ingrained belief systems. This upside-down approach to life is exactly what makes them a vital force for healing. When someone gets completely stuck in a toxic mental loop, a victim mindset, or a rigid way of living, a normal friend might offer polite comfort and validate their complaints. A Heyoka empath won't do that. They will intentionally show you the exact opposite perspective, using irony, satire, and backward logic to shock your system and give you a brand new outlook on life. They act as a massive cosmic speed bump that forces you to stop, step back, and re-examine everything you thought you knew. They are the ultimate spiritual disruptors, and understanding how they operate is the key to unlocking the true depth of their power. The single most defining, undeniable trait of a Heyoka empath is that they function as a living, breathing, spiritual mirror. This isn't a metaphor or a poetic exaggeration. It is a literal, energetic phenomenon that happens every single time you step into their personal space. When you interact with a Heyoka, the traits, flaws, and energies you think you are witnessing in them are actually just a direct, unedited reflection of your own internal state. They possess a unique psychological and spiritual structure that allows them to remain completely fluid, acting as a flawless looking glass for whoever stands before them. If you approach a Heyoka with a pure heart, humility, and genuine kindness, you will find them to be the most warm, loving, and deeply comforting soul you have ever met. But if you approach them with arrogance, hidden agendas, or a massive ego, that is exactly what will be thrown right back in your face. This mirroring effect becomes incredibly intense when it comes to the things people try hardest to hide from the world. If you carry deep-seated anger, buried insecurities, unhealed childhood trauma, or a secret habit of manipulating others, the Heyoka's presence will naturally and effortlessly pull those exact traits right up to the surface. It happens completely automatically, whether the Heyoka wants it to or not. They don't even have to say a word to trigger this process. Just by sitting across from them, the heavy, unaddressed garbage inside your subconscious mind begins to boil over. Because human beings naturally hate looking at their own flaws, people often experience an intense wave of anxiety, unexplainable stress, or sudden anger when they are around a Heyoka. When people feel this sudden discomfort, their immediate defense mechanism is to blame the Heyoka. They assume the Heyoka is a negative, toxic, or difficult person because being near them feels so incredibly jarring. But here is the vital truth you need to understand. The Heyoka isn't creating that negativity. They are simply pulling back the curtain on the negativity that was already living inside of you. They are forcing you to confront your own shadow self, the dark, messy parts of your personality that you normally ignore, repress, or project onto other people. It can be a brutal, deeply unsettling experience because it strips away all your masks and forces you to see yourself with absolute, unfiltered honesty. The beautiful part of this process is that the Heyoka's intentions are never malicious. They aren't trying to expose you or make you feel miserable just for the fun of it. They are doing it because they are ultimate agents of spiritual growth. They take this chaotic, uncomfortable energy that has been pulled into the light, and they use it to kickstart a profound transformation. They have a rare ability to take immense psychological pain and instantly reshape it into laughter, lightheartedness, and balance. By forcing you to face your hidden issues, they effectively break you out of toxic cycles, self-sabotaging habits, and mental stagnation that might have been holding you back for decades. It is a harsh form of medicine, but it is precisely the kind of deep, disruptive spiritual healing that forces people to finally evolve into their true selves. The first undeniable superpower of a Heyoka empath is their ability to see the world with a sort of psychological X-ray vision. While the average person goes through life getting completely bogged down by surface-level drama, petty arguments, and external chaos, a Heyoka operates on a completely different frequency. They don't care about what a situation looks like on the outside because they can instantly see the hidden symbolism, the underlying energetic patterns, and the exact root cause of any scenario. It is almost impossible to distract a Heyoka with a sob story, a flashy distraction, or a loud tantrum. They bypass all the noise and zoom straight into the core truth, pinpointing the precise spark that started the fire in the first place. This superpower is especially potent when it comes to reading human beings. People spend their entire lives building elaborate masks to protect themselves, project success, or hide their deepest flaws. They wear masks of confidence to hide insecurity, or masks of victimhood to gain sympathy. To a Heyoka, these masks are completely translucent. They see right through the fake smiles, the forced laughter, and the rehearsed scripts that people play out every day. But they don't just see the darkness or the deception. They also see past a person's current brokenness and instantly recognize their highest, truest spiritual potential. They know exactly who you are pretending to be, who you actually are right now, and who you are capable of becoming if you just got out of your own way. Because they see reality with such terrifying clarity, their approach to helping people is radically different from anyone else. If you are going through a tough time and you turn to a normal friend for advice, they will usually offer you temporary comfort, tell you what you want to hear, and validate your complaints just to make you feel better in the moment. A Heyoka will not waste time doing that. They know that coddling your ego only keeps you stuck in the mud. Instead, they will calmly, directly, and accurately dissect your entire life situation right in front of you. They will point out the self-sabotaging habits, the limiting beliefs, and the toxic cycles that you are actively choosing to ignore. This experience can feel incredibly intense, and at times even offensive, because a Heyoka doesn't sugarcoat the truth. They hand it to you raw and unfiltered. But they do this out of profound, genuine love. They understand that real growth cannot happen as long as you are tolerating a lie. By stripping away your excuses and showing you the exact, undeniable origin of your problems, they hand you the blueprint to your own freedom. They show you precisely what needs to be cut out, changed, or healed so that you can finally stop spinning your wheels, break through your stagnation, and evolve into the powerful person you were always meant to be. When it comes to reading people, everyone has some level of basic intuition, that little voice in the back of your head or a slight flutter in your stomach that tells you when something might be off. But a Heyoka empath's intuition operates on an entirely different level. It is practically a cheat code for human interaction. Their internal radar functions with absolute crystal clear clarity, completely unburdened by the second guessing that plagues most people. The very second someone tells a lie, fakes an emotion, or tries to subtly manipulate a situation, the Heyoka senses it instantly. It is an immediate, visceral reaction in their body. They don't need to analyze your body language or look for micro-expressions because they can physically feel the exact moment when your spoken words do not match the internal energy you are emitting. If you are projecting confidence but drowning in insecurity, or if you are smiling while harboring hidden resentment, the Heyoka detects that energetic mismatch immediately. This incredible superpower allows them to serve as a human lie detector that simply cannot be fooled, giving them the unique ability to gently or directly guide people back to reality by refusing to participate in their illusions. This unparalleled lie detection feeds directly into their next superpower, an exceptional, almost instantaneous judgment of character. Within mere seconds of meeting someone new, a Heyoka doesn't just form a superficial first impression, they know exactly who that person is at their absolute core. They can peer past the firm handshakes, the expensive clothes, or the practiced charm, and immediately read a person's true motives, hidden agendas, and whether or not they can be trusted. It is as if they have access to a person's spiritual resume before a single meaningful word is even spoken. Because they understand the raw mechanics of human nature so deeply, they can look at a crowd and instantly separate the predators from the prey and the genuine souls from the wolves in sheep's clothing. Possessing this terrifyingly accurate character assessment allows the Heyoka to play two vital roles simultaneously. On one hand, for the people who are genuinely broken, hurting, and screaming for help beneath their masks, the Heyoka can instantly recognize that vulnerability and offer a powerful, deeply grounding presence. They become a safe harbor of profound healing for those who truly need it, because they see the genuine pain beneath the surface. On the other hand, this exact same gift acts as the ultimate shield for the Heyoka. Because they instantly see through narcissists, energy vampires, and toxic manipulators within seconds of interaction, they can lock down their emotional boundaries with military precision before those toxic people even get a chance to open their mouths. They don't waste time trying to fix people who are committed to being fake, allowing them to navigate a messy world without ever getting emotionally drained or taken advantage of. A Heyoka empath's incredible gifts are not limited by physical proximity, walls, or geographical distance. While standard empaths usually need to be standing in the same room or sitting right next to someone to absorb and read their emotional energy, a Heyoka operates on a completely different frequency that transcends physical space. They possess a remarkable, almost eerie ability to tune into the emotional and energetic states of people who are miles, cities, or even continents away. It is as if they have an invisible spiritual tracking system that connects them directly to the souls of the people they are bonded with, and distance means absolutely nothing to this energetic radar. They don't need to see your face, hear the tone of your voice, or read a text message to know exactly what is happening in your internal world. This superpower usually manifests out of nowhere in their day-to-day life. A Heyoka could be completely focused on a mundane task, driving down the road or working quietly, when suddenly a heavy, specific wave of emotion hits them out of the blue. Alternatively, an incredibly vivid, intrusive thought or an unshakable image of a specific person will flash into their mind. This isn't just a casual, "I wonder how they are doing" thought. It is an intense magnetic pull that commands their full attention. They might suddenly feel an overwhelming sense of panic, a random burst of deep sadness, or a sudden, unexplained wave of physical anxiety, even though their own life is perfectly peaceful at that moment. They instinctively know that the emotion they are feeling does not belong to them. It belongs to someone else. The validation of this psychic tracking superpower almost always comes shortly afterward, leaving no room for coincidence. A Heyoka will follow that strong intuitive nudge and reach out to the friend, the family member, or even a past client they suddenly couldn't stop thinking about. Invariably, they will find out that at the exact moment the feeling hit them, that specific person was going through a major life crisis, crying in their car, dealing with an emergency, or simply sitting in despair thinking about the Heyoka and wishing they could talk to them. It happens with such terrifying accuracy that it ceases to be a surprise to the Heyoka. They learn to trust these distant energetic signals completely. This long-distance connection happens because the Heyoka's energy is fundamentally tethered to the collective web of human emotion. Once they have interacted with you and mapped out your unique energetic signature, they leave a permanent line of communication open in the unseen world. If you are in distress, your spirit essentially broadcasts a silent distress signal, and the Heyoka's radar picks it up instantly, bypassing all physical laws of nature. It allows them to act as distant guardians for the people they care about, sensing danger, pain, or a cry for help from thousands of miles away, proving that their power as a sacred disruptor and healer is truly limitless. Heyoka Empaths are the ultimate disruptors of the spiritual world, carrying a heavy, potent gift known as the medicine of chaos. When most people think about healing, they picture something incredibly gentle, soft, and soothing. They think of a peaceful room, a soft voice, and someone offering polite comfort while validating their pain. That kind of standard healing has its place, but it is not how a Heyoka operates. A Heyoka understands that when you have been stuck in a toxic cycle, a victim mindset, or a destructive pattern for years, gentle comforting is just a temporary band-aid. It doesn't fix the problem. It just makes you feel cozy while you continue to ruin your life. A Heyoka doesn't want to make you comfortable in your dysfunction. Instead, they heal you by walking into your life and completely shaking up your reality, destroying the illusions you have built around yourself. This medicine of chaos works because the Heyoka deliberately introduces a jarring, opposite perspective to whatever situation you are facing. If you approach them completely obsessed with a rigid, narrow-minded view of your problems, they won't agree with you just to be polite. Instead, they will intentionally act or speak in a backward, unconventional way to snap you right out of your comfort zone. They might use sharp wit, brutal honesty, or intense irony to make you see how ridiculous your self-limiting excuses actually are. It can feel like a sudden psychological slap in the face, but it is done with profound, unconditional love. They are deliberately creating a moment of controlled chaos to break the heavy, stagnant momentum of your negative thinking, forcing you to look at your life through a completely different lens. The moment a Heyoka unleashes this chaotic energy, the entire atmosphere of a room shifts instantly. It is like opening a window in a dusty, suffocating room and letting a violent gust of fresh air blow through. This sudden energetic disruption serves a massive purpose. It breaks the tension, balances the room, and gets people unstuck from their emotional paralysis. When you are shocked out of your regular way of thinking, your brain is forced to rewire itself in real time. You can no longer rely on your old, comfortable excuses because the Heyoka has just completely dismantled them right in front of your eyes. They force you to confront the raw truth of your situation, leaving you with nowhere left to hide. Ultimately, this disruptive medicine is the only thing powerful enough to trigger massive, permanent life changes. Gentle advice is easily forgotten, but the chaotic, truth-shattering experience of interacting with a Heyoka leaves a permanent mark on your soul. They break the mold of who you thought you were so that you can finally build yourself back up into who you are actually meant to be. It is a fierce, unpredictable, and sometimes terrifying form of therapy, but it is the fastest way to break free from stagnation. By bringing the medicine of chaos into your world, the Heyoka forces you to stop surviving in your limitations and finally start evolving into your true power. Heyoka empaths possess an intense, deeply rooted stream of creativity, but the way they access it is completely different from the rest of the world. For most people, coming up with a creative solution or a brilliant new idea requires immense mental strain, forced brainstorming sessions, or hours of staring blankly at a white page trying to make something happen. A Heyoka doesn't operate like that at all. In fact, if they try to force their creativity through traditional, rigid methods, their mind will completely lock up. Instead, their genius flows into them effortlessly because they act as an open channel for the universe. Brilliant ideas, innovative concepts, and flawless solutions to seemingly impossible problems constantly pop into their minds entirely out of nowhere. They could be doing something completely unrelated, like taking a walk, washing the dishes, or just staring out the window, when suddenly a massive, fully formed breakthrough drops into their consciousness like a lightning bolt. This happens because a Heyoka's brain naturally operates on a different wavelength, allowing them to bypass the logical, analytical walls that usually block human inspiration. They don't just think outside the box, they don't even see the box in the first place. Because they naturally view the entire world backward and upside down, their minds are constantly connecting dots that ordinary people would never think to link together. They can take two completely unrelated concepts, smash them together, and create a groundbreaking new perspective that completely disrupts the status quo. This effortless flow of sudden inspiration makes them incredible problem solvers, visionary leaders, and highly innovative creators who are always 10 steps ahead of everyone else in their field. But the most unique, borderline supernatural aspect of this superpower is that a Heyoka's subconscious mind does its heaviest lifting while they are completely unconscious. When a Heyoka goes to sleep, their brain doesn't just switch off to rest, it goes to work in the unseen realms. They possess a rare, deep connection to their dream state, turning their sleeping hours into a massive spiritual laboratory. If a Heyoka goes to bed stressed, confused, or deeply stuck on a complex life situation or a creative project, they don't need to stay up pacing the floor. They can simply hand the problem over to their subconscious mind, close their eyes, and let their inner radar find the way. The magic happens the very moment they open their eyes in the morning. A Heyoka will frequently wake up out of a deep sleep with the absolute exact answer to their complex problem sitting perfectly formed in their mind. They will dream of a specific scenario, a vivid symbol, or a direct message that contains the precise creative insight or life strategy they were searching for. It is as if their spirit travels to a higher source of wisdom while their body rests, gathering the exact medicine and clarity needed to solve the riddles of the waking world. This incredible ability to download pure genius while they sleep makes their subconscious mind their ultimate superpower, allowing them to navigate the chaos of life with an effortless, dream-fueled wisdom that cannot be duplicated. Ultimately, being a Heyoka empath is not a curse of emotional exhaustion. It is an incredible, rare gift of spiritual leadership. If you recognized yourself or someone you love in these traits, you are dealing with one of the most powerful, truth-bearing forces on the planet, a soul meant to shatter illusions and guide humanity toward genuine evolution. Embracing this medicine of chaos and owning your role as a living mirror is the exact shift that transforms you from a vulnerable sponge into an unstoppable spiritual force. Now we want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced that intense, sudden mirroring effect? Or do you constantly find yourself pulling the hidden truths out of the people around you? Share your incredible stories and personal experiences in the comments below, because your journey can help other empaths realize their true power. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and check out our other deep dive videos on human psychology and spiritual power so you never miss a breakthrough. Thanks for watching.